Yeah. That's loud as hell. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. That was crazy. All right. Wake up. How you doing? My name is Tim Black. Welcome to the Tim Black Show. I know. It's 1 a.m. in the morning on the East Coast. So, I wasn't even going to do a show, but I figured, one thing we do here is we keep it real. So, it's better to do a show and tell you why it's so hard to do a show than to just not do a show. And plus, I got an editor by the name of Kamali he needs something to edit. And this is how I get him the files, by doing the show. So whether it's around 11 or even if it's 1 o'clock in the morning, if I got stuff to talk about, we're going to do it. I want to make sure everybody can hear us on Facebook and YouTube real quick, real briefly. I hope that the mic's okay. We had some crackling earlier. Hey, Gary, what's up? Violet Sink. Love the shirt. There. Richard Pryor in the house. So we're looking good here. I think people can hear me. Eureka Springs, how you doing? What's up? Love that shirt. Thank you. What's going on? What's up, Pat? What's happening, Mary Warren? I know it's super late. Wow, I know. My schedule's jacked up, but, I know other people on the East Coast are probably gone. And I get that, So it looks like we're good on Facebook and we're good on YouTube. Facebook people, thank you. What's up, Brian? Ginger, what's going on, Greg? Nigel, Paula. Yeah, you know how it is. Candace, what's up, Candace? How you doing, sis? Good to have you back. What's up, Greg? Trumpist. Trumpists. I hear you, man. There's some strong folks, man. They are in it for the Trump dog. What's up, Facebook, YouTube? Don the Farmer. Diana M16, Kelly M, Violet at Content Boutique. Schultzy 100. Gira. LB Things, Stuff and More. La Cha Cha. What up? What up, Brian Crosby? What up, crew? What's going on? High-tech hobbies. So, all right, guys. There's a lot going on. Inauguration day. And here's the thing. It was really hard to do this show tonight because I was telling Mrs. Black I got nothing I really want to talk about I just didn't have anything that really constituted the show. I feel like everything has been talked about on corporate news, and it's like an ocean wave of praise to the Biden administration. Everybody's kissing Joe Biden's ass right now, so what was there to talk about? It's going to be very difficult. This is like a foreshadowing of what's to come. Everything's going to be pro-Joe Biden. Everything's going to be kissing butt. Everybody's going to be doing what they need to do to get access to him. It's starting right now. It's already begun, guys. So, here's the thing. I'm looking. What can I talk about that I'm going to have any type of reasoned, reasonable reaction to it? It's not just regurgitating what MSNBC had to say, or CNN, or whatever. What can we do that's going to have real scrutiny in it? When every single source of information is kissing his butt. It's this butt kissing. That's all it is, man. Everywhere I looked, it's okay. And then on the other side of it, I feel like you don't want to just be looking for things to knock them. You don't just want to be because I see it, man. It's happening already. Independent media is so pissed off, some of us, that it's we got to find something negative. Got to be negative. Got to, and it's they're almost like Fox News at this point. Just to not be a part of the CNN thing. It's also to get a lot of, make money too, Yeah. Some people are compromised. I want to be the different voice. I want to, yeah, okay. So it's a tough spot. It is a tough spot. And I'm just saying it's going to get harder and harder. And I think what we have to do, at least I'm going to try to set an example of leading the way of being, how you deal with what we're going to be dealing with for the next couple of years at least, which is how you cover Joe Biden with any type of ethics. How you do that without getting sucked into the mainstream media sycophant line, which is just a mime, basically on the soundtrack of the Democratic Party. How do you do that without being just a straight up hater? Just hate. And that's so we're going to be a work in progress as we go about this, because I don't think it's going to be easy at all. And I don't think we're going to be perfect, but here at TBTV, we're going to try to do it the right way. So, this show is brought to you by CoolStreamTV.com, where if you want to cut your cable, but you still want a couple of shows you want to watch, well, go to CoolStreamTV.com, try it out for free, use code TimBlack, and have a go at it. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so the inauguration was something else, wasn't it? No, it wasn't. It really wasn't. It was just blah. Blah. Okay, Amanda Gorman was amazing, okay? Amanda Gorman was a poet, young poet, doing her thing. Well, just talented, magical, beyond her years, just amazing, okay? Amazing poetry, delivery, the skill, the grace, all of that was amazing. Okay, so give it up for Amanda Gorman, guys. And what I love about Amanda Gorman is my people told me about it before it happened. Yeah, on the Friday, on the Tuesday show, someone called in, I think it was David. Could be wrong about the name. Someone called in and said, Tim, you can't, man, when you hear Amanda Gorman, you're going to be impressed. Anybody here from the Tuesday show heard that call? So that's the great thing about the Tim Black Wolfpack, man. We call it early. We get in there, you know what I'm saying? So that was great. Other than that, oh God. Woo. Other than that, it was just like sleepy time. Real talk, I mean, there was nothing to report there. I mean, look, okay, so Joe Biden gave a speech. We already know it's going to be a bunch of platitudes, right? Uh-oh, the platitudes are falling. The platitudes are falling. Anybody expect anything different? We need to be tall as this wall and soar through the sky and eat pumpkin pie and don't deny we are Americans and there's nothing we can never, ever can we not ever do if we want to ever do it. Ever. Bunch of that stuff. Just a bunch of platitudes, soaring rhetoric. And I gotta admit, probably a lot of Americans were probably feeling pretty good because this is the type of, this is like a go to sleep. Yeah, listen to the Joe Biden speech, talk like a president, like a cookie cutter president. Was like taking an Ambien. So they can go right back to sleep, Johnson. It was like listening to water in the rainforest. I mean, come on, for a lot of liberals, that's exactly what it was. They're like, Trump is gone. And a collective sigh of relief and sounds of flatulence and people belching and snoring and They just went hibernation like big old grizzly bears. All the bears went night-night. The Bernstein Bears went night-night, Johnson. That's what happened. They all went to sleep. That they all had too much to drink. And that's exactly what we fear, right? We fear that all that's going to happen is a bunch of people that was talking all this stuff. We need to push Joe Biden left, and we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Give me my blankie, you know? And they go night-night. That's what they do. And all of a sudden, people forget that we got a bunch of homeless people. And it's dead of winter, and it's COVID-19, and we got 10 cities full of people getting infected daily. We forget that we have all these people in America without jobs. A lot of us forgot that Joe Biden ran on $2,000 on day one. Now it's turned to $1,400, and people are saying, well, what's the problem? Well, that's a lie. First of all, he lied already. And you're covering for him. MSNBC, CNN, CBS, ABC. So we already know what to expect. A bunch of getting away with blatant lies. Give us Georgia, we'll give you $2,000. Psych, it's not what we meant. You heard us wrong when we said, give us Georgia and you get $2,000. That's you listening wrong. That's your fault. So a lot of people are going to collectively go back to sleep, and that's the problem, and that's what we fear, because we know that there's so many other things that are wrong in this country, besides how divided we are, because it's always been a divided country. And the inauguration was just more of it. You know, all your greatest hits from Amy Klobuchar, lowbrow char, crowbar jaw, Klobuchar, J-Lo and Lady Gaga with a bird on her chest. Did you see what Michelle Obama was wearing? Oh my God! And it's just sad as hell because we got real problems. And look, I know it's one day, I know, but do you really think it's going to stop at that? Does anybody really believe that, okay, they're like, okay, down to business. Let's very detailed and be very earnest in our analyzing and scrutiny of Joe Biden's administration. Are you really think that's what's going to happen? Or just going to be like, hey, man, it's better than Trump. Hey, man, it's better than Trump. Everything he does is going to be, hey, man, it's better than Trump. Hey, man, you could have had Trump. Hey, it's a good thing we ain't got Trump. Hey, Joe Biden just lied again. Yeah, I know, but at least it's not Trump. Trump lied more. Just be prepared for it. Be prepared, because that's going to play constantly during the Biden administration. Oh, at least we don't have Trump. Hey, Joe Biden just shot somebody on Fifth Avenue. But at least we don't have Trump. At least we don't have Trump. So it was a day of silliness. And I tried to be understanding because, you know, some people were very moved by the fact that Kamala Harris is the vice president. And I try to be respectful of that. And I know some people don't have the ability to do it because they don't understand that there are people that are moved by the symbolism of there being a female vice president. And there are people moved to the fact that it's a Indian, Jamaican, Asian, Black woman. There's a lot of people in those that identify with that who thought they'd never ever see this day. And I just got to remind people, though I don't like identity politics where it says, if this person's this, it checks these boxes, so they must be great. Doesn't matter what they actually do. No, that's bad identity politics. But what is also bad is people who are not in that group of those people, and they can't understand why that's important to them. It starts smelling like explicit bias. Like, the reason why it doesn't matter to you because you're not part of any of those groups, and you don't see this. You don't see. At least you don't have to agree, but at least try to understand why other people might be cheery about a woman VP. We can still criticize her, and we should, and we shall. We shall, but at least have the ability to realize why it's a first, and it's and why some other people might feel empowered by it. Doesn't mean you go, yay, yay, all right. It just means I get it. Okay, cool. Because it's a long term, and we'll have many opportunities. So I don't like people who consider themselves, who say, I'm a progressive. And I'm like, oh, well, I'm a progressive. And then they're like, don't get it. And they have no emotional EQ at all. No calibration on their emotional awareness to other people's emotions. So, but we got Bernie Sanders wearing mittens. Bernie Sanders wore mittens and a coat. Yeah, man, he wore mittens and a coat, Johnson. The biggest story was not Joe Biden's speech, where he's going to unite the world and bring us all together again and hold people accountable and free the slaves, cure cancer, and put a man on the moon. But forget that. Bernie Sanders wore some mittens. Here goes Ari Melber, who won't bring me on his show because he prefers people like other people. Yeah, I'm salty about that, man. But check this out, though. Check this out. Ari Melber had time to cover Bernie Sanders in the mittens, though. Yay, Ari.
It's time. It is time. Let's talk about it. Bernie Sanders absolutely breaking the internet with his drip, his inauguration chic, his fashion look. Now, here's how it started. Sanders was spotted at the inauguration rocking these very understandably cozy mittens, it's cold, and a big winter coat. And he was just hanging out. Beautiful mittens, sitting there against a sea of dark suits. So while many people would go unnoticed, something about this and the whole physical distancing made people take notice and even made the rounds on late night.
The Vermont is strong with this one, in a parka and giant woolen mittens. But notice the one part of his body that's not covered. Bernie, what are you thinking? Don't you know that 99% of your body heat escapes out the top 1%?
Looks like he's about to scatter bread to a bunch of pigeons at the park.
He showed up holding a manila envelope as if he had an appointment at the DMV. Sadly, Senator Sanders had to duck out early when his neighbor Larry called to say he found his hat.
Yeah. They're missing Trump already, man. Hey, they're missing Trump already. This is an example of it. Look, they had no one to hate. So now we got to make Bernie's mittens be a thing. Don't get me wrong. I made a little thing about it. I did something about it too, because, it is what it is. Maybe that'll go viral. Maybe that could, we got high suicide rates right now. We have kids going hungry because they used to eat at school. We got domestic violence crazy off the charts, depression off the charts. People hungry, literally hungry, mile-long food lines, bread lines like the Great Depression. But hey, Bernie's got mittens on. You know what? You could take Bernie's mittens and shove them up your ass. Bernie should have been president. Yeah, you can keep the mittens and make Bernie president. And see, this is the thing. I have a feeling that Bernie doesn't care about this. He just doesn't. I'm guessing. And I know he didn't support reparations, and I understand. I get it. Neither did Biden. Look, guys. I just can't pretend to think this is important. You know, but other people think it's important. And I get it, Tim. You're a stick in the mud. Here you go. Wanting things. We got time, Tim. We have time. We don't have time. No, you have time. Because you live indoors. Maybe you don't have an eviction notice on yours. Maybe there's heat emanating in your space. Maybe you have a refrigerator full of food. Maybe your son or daughter is not contemplating suicide. I don't know. Maybe you're not in these groups of people that are really suffering right now. Maybe you didn't lose a spouse to COVID-19. I don't know. But there's got to be more that's important to us than freaking Bernie's parka and his mittens and this shit. And to call that out is not to be a stick in the mud. To call that out is to be a champion for humanity. And to be a soul, because we need reminders of what's important. Because if America has its way, it'll just distract us all the time. And I know it's true for mental health. From time to time, you will need to unplug. But you have to plug back in, because if you don't, they'll make Joe Biden's entire presidency, his entire term, be about this type of shit. Which is goofy things that happen that have nothing to do with policy at all. Nothing. But people want to watch because they want to feel good. Because these people are being lulled to sleep and they're thinking that the only thing that important that happened was Bernie's mittens. Okay, so speaking of mittens, let's go to some of the executive orders. That's a hard turn, man, isn't it? I just broke your ankles with that one. There's no segue at all, just boom. So Joe Biden signed a number of executive orders. Let's dig into a few of those. Tomorrow will be on the Ida Rodriguez Truth Serum show, where we will talk about these executive orders again. But I have to talk about them tonight because they happened today. Or yesterday. Okay, here we go. Today or yesterday? Yesterday. Okay, here we go, guys. Here goes Joe Biden's executive. Here's Joe Biden talking about a few executive orders that may impact your life. Go to it, Johnson.
On Thrillist.com, they say.
So what I'm going to be doing, I'm proud of today's executive actions. I'm going to start by keeping the promises I made to the American people. Long way to go. These are just executive actions. They are important, but we're going to need legislation for a lot of the things we're going to do. And the first order I'm going to be signing here relates to COVID, and it's requiring, as I said all along, where I have authority, mandating masks be worn, social distancing be kept on federal property, on interstate commerce, etc. So this is the first one I'm signing. And the second one I'm signing here is the support for underserved communities, and we're going to we have going to make sure we have some bedrock equity, equality as relates to how we treat people in healthcare and other things. And we'll give you copies of these executive orders. And a third one I'm going to sign, and that's what I'm going to do while you're all here, is the commitment I made that we're going to rejoin the Paris Climate Accord as of today.
So guys, let's go back. Let's move out, please. You guys come.
Mr. President?
Thank you.
Mr. President?
Go, President, please, guys.
Okay. Okay, so now there's a number. Joe Biden signed 17 executive orders that some of them you probably heard about, but let's go over a few. There he mentioned one that was very straightforward. One was the mask. I already thought this was happening. I didn't know you could go to a federal building without wearing a mask. So anyone on federal property has to wear a mask now. I thought that was a requirement, but okay, I guess because Trump, it wasn't. Could actually go into a federal building without a mask. You can't even go to a Walgreens without a mask. You can't go to Walmart without a mask, but you can go to a federal building without a mask. Hence is why a lot of times we saw people without masks. Duh, now we get it, right? Nobody didn't say that when they were covering it on MSNBC. The reason why we kept seeing all these assholes without masks is because they weren't required to. You can go to Target. You can't get in Target. You can't get in a liquor store. Forget Target. You can't get in a liquor store without a mask, but you could get into the federal building. Also, he's going to start a mask mandate challenge. Because see, you can't put a mask. It's a mask challenge because you can't do a mandate. It would probably get struck down because it's unconstitutional. Legally challenge it and it'll get overturned. But since he doesn't want to, challenge, there we go. The other thing was the pretty clear cut, the Paris Climate Agreement. Okay, so this was whack. It's like Trump got out of this just as a show to make a statement because according to everything that I read, even though we got out of it, we were still locked in. Like we just fell out of it officially. So Biden's putting us back in. And all we're trying to do is reduce green, the green gases, what is it? Greenhouse gases, that's it. And carbon, that's it. Us, number one contributor of carbon to the environment. So be a good idea to do our part as well. China's passing us up, but we had a big head start. So there we go, right? Okay. Paris Climate Agreement. So those things are pretty straightforward. And Trump pulled out, we're back in. Okay. So let's go to a couple things we haven't covered that weren't in that, okay? Immigration and visas, okay? DACA is going to extend protections to dreamers, okay? That's those who were brought to America illegally without going through the paperwork or whatever, but they grew up here. So it's going to protect them, and, there it is. That's one. And something about Liberians, deportation of Liberians. First I thought it was librarians. It's Liberians, okay. And and the Muslim ban, lifting the Muslim ban, which is also an Africa ban. Remember Donald Trump saying SO countries? Yeah, okay. So Muslim ban and African ban lifted. Now, this was kind of sketchy. It was in the clip there I just showed you because it's kind of weird. Okay, this is about on racial and LGBT equality. Biden will end the Trump administration's 1776 commission. I had no idea he was doing this. Okay, so when we were talking bad, bringing up bad things that Trump was doing, horrible things, irreprehensible, garbage things that Trump was doing, 1776 commission should have been right at the top. Trump was effectively trying to erase all the all the shit that America has done to black people. He wanted it out of the history books, Johnson. He put together, was it 40? 40 like, none of them historians, 40 conservative people. And got them to write this report about how bad it was, you know, to talk about slavery and injustice, racial inequality in the country, and sort of just focus on the good stuff about America. As if America was ever actually covering, you know, the bad history. Like, besides hearing about MLK and Coretta, you know, Harriet Tubman and, you know, Frederick Douglass and a couple other people, very little was mentioned in our history books about black folks. I mean, slavery was like a chapter, half of a chapter, not even that long. And that was still too much for Trump. He set up a 1776 commission to get that removed. He said that was the problem. What was wrong with America was not our history of racial discrimination, inequality, Jim Crow, segregation, redlining. No, the problem was we were talking about Jim Crow, segregation, redlining, mass incarceration. That's the problem. Black codes, lynchings. That problem was we were talking about that stuff. And to be a true American patriot is to ignore all of that, pretend none of that ever happened, and focus on American Pie and Aunt Bee and Andy Griffith Show and the Waltons and Family Matters or something. And you know, different strokes, because they had a black kid who was adopted by a rich white guy. So focus on that about America, and we'll be a better country. And I'm glad when Biden came in, he ripped this shit up. See, here we go. This is a prime example of people don't want to be seen as Biden lap dancers, for lack of a better, I don't know, Biden's backup squad, backup singers. So they're not going to talk about this because they don't want to give him any credit, but it's not credit, it's just reporting the facts of what happened, what's going on, and that this is not good. And it pissed me off today that I just found out about this 1776 commission. You know, I'm a one-man band. I'm playing the drums, the guitar, I'm doing my own backup singer, I'm on bass, I'm on the synthesizer. But there are people with, like, people. There are news, independent news entities with, like, people and stuff, and cable news with people, and I hadn't heard about this thing. So I'm like, damn, man, I got to get some people, because we should have been talking about this. I should have been talking about it before now it's gone. And when people are like, well, what's Trump doing that's wrong? Well, I could have just pointed at this. This is a good one. This did nothing to help anyone except white supremacists. That's it, because all it is to show, to bolster a perceived white supremacist or American exceptionalism, while denying actual reality that 4,000 black people got lynched in this country after slavery. Which is why, and most of those in the South, which is why we ended up in New York and in New Jersey and in DC, in Maryland. Like, that's why, because they were lynching mofos there. And Trump didn't even want that to be known, like talked about, taught to young people in universities. He wanted it wiped from the record. So I could go on and on about that, but that's enough for me to hate that mofo right there. I think that's enough right there. Trumpers, that's horrible. Yeah, the best way to make people love America more is not make America actually a better country in any way, but to pretend it wasn't as bad as it was. Yeah, let's all just get around and pretend that shit was great. Yeah, like that uncle that touched the kids. Yeah, we don't talk about that. We don't talk about him. The kids are abused, man. it's not actually helping the kids at all not to discuss it. What would be good is to get them therapy, not pretend it didn't happen. Well, Trump didn't want to get therapy. He didn't want to lock the dude up. He just wanted to pretend it didn't happen. Okay, on to the next thing. Now, this part, the president designated Susan Rice, who's the head of the Domestic Policy Council, as the leader of a robust interagency effort requiring all federal agencies to make rooting out systemic racism central to their work. What the hell does that mean? How are you going to root out systemic racism with Susan Rice? What's she going to do, Johnson? Be like the fiddler or leading them down the road with the playing the fiddle or whatever, the flute, whatever that is. How is she going to root them out? You got like a bomb for systemic racism, a roach bomb you're going to throw in there and close the windows and it's going to... I don't get it. His order directs the agencies to review and report on equity in their ranks within 200 days, including a plan on how to remove barriers to opportunities in policies and programs. The order also moves to ensure that Americans of all backgrounds have equal access to federal government resources, benefits, and services. It starts a data working group as well as the study of new methods to measure and assess federal equity and diversity efforts. Just cut me a check, motherfucker. Yeah, man, what is this? What is this? What does this mean? What does it do? What's the expectation, Johnson? How does this help people's lives? Jim Clyburn, you, all of you, Congressional Black Caucus, what is Joe talking about? What is this? What does this do? Okay, so on the economy. Biden is moving to extend a federal moratorium on evictions and has asked agencies including Agriculture, Veterans Affairs, and HUD to prolong a moratorium on foreclosures on federally guaranteed mortgages that was enacted in response to the coronavirus pandemic. The extension all run through at least the end of March. Now, clap for that, clap for that. This is good. Here's the problem. Extends a moratorium on foreclosures on federally guaranteed mortgages. Not all mortgages are federally guaranteed, right? Isn't there like a third? Same thing with the rents, right? Right? Isn't there like that's not everybody, right? That's what I read last week. It's not everybody. It's like a third. It only applies to a third. Kind of nice to put that in there. Who's this? New York Times. New York Times not reporting on that. So this is what our jobs are going to be, to like call stuff out like this. Government accountability. Ethics rules for those who serve in his administration to restore and maintain trust in government. He's ordered all his appointees in the executive branch to sign an ethics pledge. No profiting off the presidency and other positions and stuff. Hunter, you're good. Biden also issued a freeze on all new regulations put in motion by his predecessor to give his administration time to reevaluate which ones it wants to move forward. The memorandum is aimed at preventing so-called midnight regulations, policies pushed through by lame duck president, unconstrained by federal considerations or electoral considerations. Meaning there's things that Trump probably slid in because no one was paying attention at the end of his term, and he just did them at the dark of night, like, hey, and just slid them in. So it's going to put a freeze on those until you can go over them and undo all of them. Fun times, Johnson, fun times. Also, now this is not an executive order, but I think this is very important. Biden wants to reopen schools in 100 days. President Biden pushes to reopen schools within 100 days as part of the COVID-19 response. See, now this I have a problem with, not because I don't want my kids to go back to school. I really do want them to go back to school. It's driving me crazy, Johnson. Plus, they learn better, they become more socialized, and they're driving me crazy, Johnson. But you can't do anything without the science being there, right? Like, if the science doesn't say it's time to reopen schools, you shouldn't be talking about reopening schools. This doesn't make sense to me. Why are you saying this now? See, this is a mixed signal. I heard that things are worse, far worse than we ever imagined. And I heard that, I also saw a clip where Joe Biden was saying that the death toll could pass 500,000. And we're at just over 400,000 right now. And he says in the next couple months, it could pass 500,000. And you're still saying you want to open schools in 100 days? I don't get that at all. That don't make sense. Which one is it? I don't get it. All right. Executive orders, 1776. Bernie's mittens. Okay. Okay, so while all this is going on, there's still fallout because of the... Have we agreed what we're going to call these people who ran in the Capitol? What are we going to call them? The MAGA invaders? Okay, so there's still fallout from that. There's an interview that AOC gave to Chris Cuomo. That was kind of interesting when she talked about something that happened on the House floor today. Crazy stuff is happening in the House right now. Doesn't make any sense. And she talks about it here. Let's check this out.
So what I'm going to be doing, I'm proud with today's executive actions.
This was supposed to be a show of force and unity, and you weren't there. Explain it.
Yeah, I think we also had very real security concerns as well. As you mentioned earlier, we still don't yet feel safe around other members of Congress.
How many are we?
I think a very considerable amount. A lot of members do not.
You really
feel safe.
think that colleagues of yours in Congress may do you dirty?
Yeah, well, one just tried to bring a gun on the floor of the House today. I believe it was Representative Andy Harris of Maryland. He tried to bring in a gun onto the House floor. For individuals who don't know, guns are not allowed in the District of Columbia, and certainly the House floor is there are separate House rules that prohibit the bringing in of firearms. Now, these are rules that date back to the Civil War, and these are individuals that are trying to sneak firearms either illegally or in direct violation of House rules. Why does a member of Congress need to sneak a gun onto the House floor?
Do you think they're bringing it in there because they want to protect all of you from, insurrectionists like we saw a couple of weeks ago? Or do you think there really is a chance that you may be the enemy?
Well, here's what I'll say. The moment you bring a gun onto the House floor in violation of rules, you put everyone around you in danger. It is irresponsible, it is reckless, but beyond that, it is in violation of rules. You are openly disobeying the rules that we have established as a community, which means that you cannot be trusted to be held accountable to what we've decided as a community. And so I don't really care what they say their intentions are. I care what the impact of their actions are. And the impact is to put all 435 members of Congress in danger. You know, he tried to hand off his gun to another member who didn't have a license. And any responsible gun owner knows that you don't just hand off your gun to another individual. You have to clear it, et cetera. And that just goes to show, you know, it doesn't matter what your intention is. If you are irresponsible, if you are trying to break rules, you're trying to sneak a firearm onto the floor of the House. I don't care if you accidentally set it off. I don't care if you intentionally set it off. I don't care if you don't set it off at all. You are endangering the lives of members of Congress. And it is.
Okay. All right. Whew. Boy, the anti-AOC stuff won't stop, will it? You're not supposed to bring a gun into the House, into this conversation. Like, there are very strict gun laws in D.C. to begin with. A lot of people don't know that. I grew up knowing that. It's like, that'll get you 5 years. That'll get you 5 to 10 automatically, just by having a gun. D.C. got some of the toughest laws on guns. But it's against the House rules to bring a gun on the floor, and the guy put a gun on the floor, and there are people that hate AOC so much that they're like, so? So this is going to be a problem. We're going to have a problem, guys, because people are just that pissed off. Like, if you come to my house with a gun, and I mean, dude, what you doing bringing a gun in here? Or you don't have a right to decide that, but I don't allow you to bring guns in my house. Forget you. You know? No, you can't. So wherever you work at, I don't know where you work at, wherever you work at, if somebody brings a gun into your place of business and there's no guns to be brought there, it's against the rules, that's a fucking problem. How can that not be a problem? Why is that even something to debate? Who died and made them security? Hey, look, and it's sad because this guy's from Maryland, Andy Harris. It's a guy from Maryland out near the Western Hemisphere or something. The Western Maryland, it's like, look at me trying not to claim him. He's the western part of Maryland. There's good fishing over there, but oh God. But no, man, I mean, especially in light of everything that's happened. Now, do I think he put the gun in the House to do something to Democrats because he's a Republican guy, right? No, I don't think he brought it to do anything to anybody. I don't think that's why he brought it. I don't think that's why he got it. I don't think it's like it's a reach for her to be like, you know. But if somebody feels that, if people feel like they're unsafe because you're bringing guns into work, okay, they got a right to say that. That doesn't mean his intention was to make you feel unsafe, you know. And I get it. It doesn't matter what his intentions are. What if he dropped it? I don't know. I get it. Okay, I get all of that. I just don't think that that's why he bought it. But I don't know, man. There's crazy people in there. I just saw a clip of I forget where it was, but gosh, I want to tell you where it was. So anyway, the courthouse. I think it's in New Jersey. I don't know where it is. Okay, at the courthouse, one of the lawmakers. They weren't letting people in, right? So there was a big mob outside, and this guy sneaks out the back door, letting in the mob. A lawmaker lets in the mob, walks around the building for a few minutes, and then goes in the front door and goes back to his office. And the cops are fighting with the mob who's spraying the cops with bear spray and all this stuff. Man, it's going down, Johnson. This just happened a couple of days ago. Anybody know the story I'm talking about? They got dude on camera going out the back door entrance, the side entrance to the building, opening the door, letting these people get in and walking away like he didn't know what was going on. Meanwhile, they're holding the door and letting all their friends in. And then the cops are fighting to try to get them out. So there are things going on. It's not unprecedented that there are certain lawmakers who agree with the Trump supporters who are down with it, man. They're down with the cause. Okay, so don't jump to conclusions and say, we can't jump to conclusions and be like, hey, obviously nothing's going to happen and everybody has great intentions and there's nobody, who's deranged or suspect or a part of the invaders or whatever, because I just saw this. I don't know why this guy didn't realize they had like cameras on the building. You have to know they have cameras at federal buildings, right? So right now they're trying to bring him up on ethics charges. Right now. So anyway, this is a couple days ago. So anyway, the point is, so now what's even more important than this thing about the gun and about how crazy Andy Harris is, besides that, AOC spent Inauguration Day at a strike. Now here goes another thing I like to point out is that we were talking about this strike on this show a couple days ago. I think it was last Friday. Caller brought it up. It's in the Bronx, in their home district, so it's not just a strike somewhere. It's in their home district. Instead of being at the inauguration, the AOC was at this strike for workers at the Hunts Point Produce Market, a massive operation responsible for handling 60% of the city's produce. Fruits and vegetables. 1,400 workers represented by the Teamsters Local 202 Union walked off the job January 17th, and among other things, they want a $1 raise and health care. Expanded healthcare coverage. Expanded coverage. So that's what they were there to do. The NYPD had been previously brutally broke up the picket line. So AOC did the right thing. She's there on the ground in their home district, representing, giving people coffee and cocoa. But even more importantly than that, she's shining attention on the issue by even being there. Because when you are a popular person, like AOC is, the cameras follow you. And you get to go on CNN and make it a public issue. And that's a good way to use leverage, right? Isn't that leverage? That's leverage. So I also want to point out that the Hunts Point Produce Market has been the site of hundreds of COVID-19 infections. And several members of the local 202 have died from the virus. So what people are asking for is not some crazy, crazy over-the-top request, right? They're asking for better coverage, more testing, a $1 raise. And these rich bastards don't want to give it to them. So anyway, I support her going to this protest. I wish more Democrats went to a protest instead of sitting there at the Trump recital or the Biden recital. Well, they need to do this because they got to, all cheer for Joe Biden. Nah, not everybody. Not everybody. It's probably why Bernie had the manila folder in his arm that people keep laughing at because he had other stuff to do. Probably had a bill in there. I hope he did. Okay. Look, guys, so, hey, there are people that are going to sleep. They're falling asleep right now because they got Joe Biden in office. Trump's gone. Boom, boom, the witch is dead. He ain't actually dead, Johnson. But they are still talking about impeaching this guy because they want to stop him from running in 2024. And then there's also talks about prosecuting him, and they're not going to prosecute this guy. I don't believe they're going to prosecute him. Okay, they said the same thing about war crimes under Bush and all this. So I don't put any stock in that. But just like we have a lot of Democrats or liberals going to sleep now, going night-night, we also have a lot of Trump supporters losing their minds. Let's not forget that. So I remember when the Democrats or the liberals were crying and they were everywhere. And I remember memes of crying-ass liberals. Pictures of Democrats crying in the streets and losing their minds. And remember that? I remember that. I haven't seen a lot of that about the Trumpers. Well, if there were to be a meme or clips circulating about this, this one would have to be right up there, Johnson, because this, the derangement is off the charts.
President Trump, if you see this, please save us. I don't even see our American flag anymore. Biden is talking with some kind of crazy flag. This is America. This is our land. Please, President Trump. Please, please, I hope you have a plan. God, please save us. Save us from the devil, please. Y'all, I'm about to have a panic attack. This is our country. Our country. This is awful. God, please save us, please.
Somebody throw a net over this one. Throw a net over. This is a reason to make a phone call. Make a check. Send some authorities over to do a check on this lady. This lady is delusional. Something's wrong with her. She should not have access to knives, driver's license, other people. This MAGA moron meltdown mongrel. Look, if Joe Biden's the devil, what is Trump? What is Trump? The devil's father. What are you talking about? Too much Tommy Lauren, too much Candace Owens, too much Beck, too much Hannity, too much Tucker Carlson, too much. Fee, fi, fo, fum. Dumb. Too much Fox News, too much Newsmax, too much OAN. Who be kidding? Too much meth. What is wrong with you? Now, you're not a wine mom, or you're a meth mom. Something's wrong. Something's wrong. These are the people we're sharing the country with. So yeah, we gotta be concerned. That's somebody's mama. Meaning she raised kids. She might still have influence over someone. And yeah. Oh, this is our country. It's my country too, man. It's my country, and your president wanted to erase my history because it's inconvenient for him and his brain-dead followers like you to be up on your high horse talking all this smack all the time. So instead of addressing what we've been through and giving us reparations or making us whole and closing the racial wealth gap, instead of doing all of that, you want to erase the reason why we have a claim for it. You want to pretend it didn't happen. You're president. Hell, we've probably been in this country longer than you. Probably got here in the early 1900s. More my country than your country. White supremacist white lady in your ugly kitchen, your fat head, crying about Trump. Trump wouldn't piss on you if you was on fire. He wouldn't. You would drown and he'd throw a weight instead of a inflatable life preserver. Throw a weight on your ass. Wouldn't have a beer with you. He'd throw beers at you. Like he threw those paper towels in Puerto Rico. But what I'm saying is, these people are delusional, man. And as much as people want to make fun, don't give me that, oh, you got to be nice to them. No, I don't. No, I wasn't nice to the liberals that were freaking out. Ah, there's Trump. I wasn't nice to them. Were you nice to them? No, you weren't. You made fun of them. Make fun of this one. Make fun of this one. Or at least admit you're just a Trumper. Don't give me the shit, man. Don't give me the thing where I'm supposed to be more decent, but you weren't decent to liberals. I wasn't decent to liberals, and I'm not going to be decent to these people either. I'm not decent to the Trumpers, I'm not decent to the K-Hive, I'm not decent to the Trumpers or the K-Hive or the Bidenettes. The Bidenettes, that's a good one. I'm not decent to any of them. They don't deserve decency. They deserve ridicule and the truth. Hard, brutally honest truth that beats them into submission. Makes them wake up, smell the coffee, realize what's going on in this country. People are dying every day. And if Biden was such a nice guy, he'd give us health care. That's what nice guys do. They want you to live, Johnson. Not sing stupid songs. So, yeah, that soaring rhetoric, but actual health care and legalize cannabis and open up the jails and take care of, get rid of poverty, work on poverty and homelessness, bring our troops home, shit like that, and pay me reparations, you asshole. That's what you do. Instead of giving me excuses and telling me what we can't do. I thought it was nothing we could never, ever do if we wanted to set our minds to it. But set your minds to this. Back to blubbering Betty over here. Don't tell me how it's wrong and we got to be more nice and have to be more empathetic, whatever. This is pathetic. This is sad. And this is dangerous. This woman is deranged moron. She's a problem, okay? Because she spawns other You think she's the only one? You think there's a lot of them right now. A lot of them walking the earth right now. Delusional. Believing that Trump is somehow, look, I'm not saying Trump was everything wrong with America, but these people think he was everything that was right with America. And that's what's wrong with America. People think Trump's right or Biden's right or these are saviors. These are not saviors. Saviors want you to have health care. Saviors, they want you to be able to, they want black families to own more than 1/10 of what a white family owns. 1/10 the wealth. They want that to be more even. They want black people to stop owning only 2% of the wealth in this country while white Americans own 90% when we are 13% of the population. And to not make that go away with songs or hymns. New national hymns won't change that. No, policy might, but Joe Biden's not willing to do any policy to change that. And the CBC and other black leaders are not willing to hold them accountable. And those who got platforms are not willing to talk about it. So here we go. This is where we are. Status quo Joe, Jim Crow Joe is not going to change these things. Now, if we do have any shot at all at changing any of it, it will require an amount of pressure, a serious amount of pressure on people in charge. Leadership. Leaders like Joe Biden using that bully pulpit to get at him. That's what I think matters here. But no, I don't feel sorry for this meltdown, Margaret. I don't know. No, I don't. This is our country. Now, this is your problem. Your problem is you watch too much Fox News. This ain't your country. This country at this point belongs to special interest groups and the rich. It was never yours. Never mine either, really. Now, if you want to get technical about it, you know, technically speaking, about really who runs it, come on. Come on, lady. Come on. Anyway, that's all I got, guys. It's just like, don't make excuses for it. I didn't make excuses about Amy Klobuchar, Kamala Harris. I'm damn sure not going to make excuses for Trump supporters. Is that what you got to do to be viable in independent media now? Make a bunch of excuses for lame asses like this lady? For people with mental problems like this lady? Oh, no. There's got to be an audience out there that realizes both parties suck Johnson. Both parties suck Johnson. There's got to be somebody, there's got to be enough people that realize we're getting screwed everywhere we look. That it's bad on both sides. And it is what it is. And to call it out. They value that, not want to be coddled and lied to for a like or a share or membership. And that goes to people making excuses for Joe Biden, who won't hold his ass accountable with this empty ass. What kind of executive order? I want us to take a look at things and make sure we root out systemic racism. What the hell? Hey, how about all federal government contracts? The federal government will give 13% of its contracts to small businesses, black small businesses. There you go. There you go. There goes something. See how basic that was and simple? Didn't take a lot of words. Federal government contractors, you're going to mandate that the federal government issue 13% of its contracts to black small businesses. Bam. Bam. 13% of the population gets 13% of the contracts. Not 1%, which is what it is. And pointing that out is not divisive. I think it's the other way. I think not putting it out is divisive because it allows morons like this to think this is our country and everybody's getting an opportunity of saying the devils go, oh. You know, I'm not going to tell you to kill yourself, but check yourself in somewhere. Smoke weed or something. That's a joke. Try to shut down my channel. Whew. All right, guys. Hey, Joe Biden's reign has begun. Woo! Happy now? Happy now. There it is. Feel better already, don't you? Go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep. All right, guys, I'm Tim Black. Follow me as well, Tim Black on Facebook and Twitter. Tim Black at Night on Instagram. We're going to have a job ahead of us. Tim Black's Wolfpack, we got a job ahead of us. If ain't nobody saying it, we're going to be the ones saying it. I don't know who's saying it. I don't have time to see who's saying it. Maybe I'm saying something that you're hearing everywhere. I don't know. But we got our work cut out for us. Let's get our cornbread, Johnson. All right. Let's go to the comment section. Don't forget this show is brought to you by CoolStreamsTV.com. Cool with a K. StreamsTV.com. If you want to cut your cord, but you want to watch certain things, and you don't want to pay an arm and a leg, more like $20 a month, go to CoolStreamsTV.com. Use my code, Tim Black, and save money. Save money. All right. Let's go to the comment section and see what we got. All right. Viewer activity on YouTube. What a day, what a night, Johnson, what a night. Hey, what happened to my... It's not showing me any of my viewer activity, Johnson. I'm refreshing my screen. Let's see. There we go. People are back. We Curry Signs. Thank you, We Curry Signs, for supporting the show, as you always do. Tony D in the house as well. Thank you, Tony D. Kamala being VP is horrible for the feminist movement and for people of color. I wouldn't have chose her. Oh, that's right, I didn't. You know? I don't like that she's compared to Shirley Chisholm. I don't like that. But now, Nina Turner. Hello, somebody. Gil Brown. Tim, I heard your podcast. You are not a brute. Just like I'm not any of the things stupid, worthless shows call me. Thank you, Gara. Oh, I did a podcast with Michael Solomon. The Michael Solomon podcast. We sent out a message tonight, earlier today. Yeah. We sent a message to my text list. So text Gosh, text the word cornbread to code 21,000. Cornbread to 21,000. Cornbread to code 21,000 to get on my text list, my VIP text list. But I got to put it up on Patreon. And then we tweet. I know I retweeted it, but I need to tweet it out. Thank you, Gara. Ty Savage. ALC, stop acting like you don't understand that people just storm your workplace with guns and you feel the need to protect yourself. Complex issue. It's against the law to bring guns in. What can I tell you? You can't bring a gun. Ty? If you're that scared, stay home. Because you can't bring a gun in. And then if you're caught with your gun, you can't just hand it to somebody else who doesn't have a license. You would go to jail for it. You bring a gun somewhere you're not supposed to bring a gun, you go to jail. This person, nothing happened. Of course, people are going to talk about it. My thing is, of course, I just think all the negativity surrounding AOC has people siding with the guy who did the thing you're not allowed to do when it's not something forget it. And Bo's on sound. What's up, Bose? Some QAnon believers committed suicide today believing, what the hell? Yeah. Bo says, some QAnon believers committed suicide today, believing why Dems were not executed by military on Inauguration Day to have Trump is God elected. Huh? Let me try this again. Some QAnon believers committed suicide today, believing why Dems were not executed by military on Inauguration Day to have Trump as God elected. PTSD. But some people are not long for this world. I'm sorry, man. Hey, if you, some people need help. Seek therapy. Like serious talk, man. If you believe that Joe Biden or Trump are worth you taking your life over, really? Someone, he said plural, believers, plural, committed suicide over Trump or Biden. Man. All right, William McGregor. Apparently the 1776 Commission project was working so well, me, and MSNBC must have forgot it existed. I didn't know it existed, man. I would have been reported on that. That pissed me off reading that, man. Well, we don't want to fix things. We just want to pretend it didn't happen. Go make that happen. Go make that happen. See, that's what's wrong with America. We focus too much on these monuments. We say they're a problem. No, the problem is once you put, like, a rebellion failed and you have monuments to a rebellion that failed. Why? Put it in a museum. Why is it out in the open? The problem isn't the monuments. The problem is that you have a problem with the monuments. So if you have a problem with the monuments because you've been reading in these history books about why they had a rebellion. So we need to change the history books so people don't have a problem with our history, and therefore that way we can keep all of our monuments up. And you were saying Trump wasn't racist. He wasn't a bigot. He wasn't white supremacist. This point right there at that. Right there. Explain that, Trump. Explain why you want to rewrite history. Okay, explain that. All right. Fun times, Johnson, fun times. All right, tomorrow I'll be on the Ida Rodriguez Truth Serum Show. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Subscribe here. Become a subscriber here. Is anybody subscribing here? I know it's 10 minutes late. You can still subscribe. It's never too late to subscribe. Also, the Michael Solomon podcast. Yeah. I'll get you that link. Patreon members, thank you so much. Moderators, thank you so much. Anybody up at this godforsaken hour on the East Coast, I love you, Johnson. Peace.
Banana in the tailpipe. Don't be fooled by corporate media talking heads misleading the people. Get your news and information from an entity that keeps it real. Tim Black. Tim Black is the host of The Tim Black Show. Independent news that leaves you informed, inspired, and sometimes entertained, but always in the know. Go to timblacktv.com and sign up today. The Tim Black Show is news for people who can't stand the news. See you there.
Let me ask you something. Do they know us? When I say they, I mean the talking heads on cable news. Do they know you? I mean, they talk about the world as if it's a sport. They play political games, report on our pain, rack our brain to feed the stock exchange, but do they know us? Do they know what we care about? Nope. They're too far away. They can't see us. They can't feel us. They can't relate to us. See, when you want to know what's going on in your world, trust someone who lives in your world. Subscribe.